One, two, one, two.
All right, welcome back to the Weekend Wrap-Up Mix Show powered by Vocalo 89.5 FM. I'm your host, Vocalo Senior Hip-Hop Correspondent, Gabriel Mendoza. We got a great show lined up this week. Later during the show, we're going to talk to the two members of the Chicago-based group, the Whoever's, who put out another excellent mixtape street album, whatever you want to call it, last week, titled The Red Tape. So we talk in depth about the project and the making of The Red Tape and some of their history coming up here in the city of Chicago. But first off, we're going to talk about the new album from Lupe Fiasco, Food and Liquor 2, the great American rap album that dropped this week. And joining me is another Vocalo correspondent for the Morning Amp, just like myself. And I'm talking about Vivian Mikhail, who's here to join me and talk about the new album. How you doing, Vivian?
Hey, Gabe. I'm good. How about you?
Good. I'm so glad we can get you on the show this week. Lupe Fiasco, this is his fourth studio album, and the last couple of albums, in my opinion, haven't been as good as Food and Liquor, but this part 2 is just really, really good. What were your thoughts on it when you first checked it out?
I definitely agree with you in terms of the last two albums, The Cool and Lasers, being very mainstream. Lupe was almost unrecognizable compared to his first couple albums that he released, like Food and Liquor 1. But when I even heard that he was releasing a Food and Liquor 2, I knew exactly how it was going to sound like. And if you have never been introduced to Lupe Fiasco before, you really do get a good idea of his message and what he represents from the first Food and Liquor. The second one, the exact same way. If you've never heard Lupe before, you definitely get a good idea of him in the second album. And I was really impressed. This was definitely the Lupe that I fell in love with, that Chicago fell in love with, regardless of his political opinions and what he's been in the headlines for the past year and a half. This is something that I think every Chicagoan should definitely check out and support him.
Yeah, and he stays with the same theme as the first Food and Liquor, where he has the intro of the spoken artist. This one is Aisha Says, and talking about some of the culture and social issues that are more recent to this album than it was the last one. But it sort of stays in the same theme of a sequel, picking up where the last one left off. I kind of viewed this album as sort of an individual project. I thought it was a nice follow-up to the part 1, but I still don't really look at it as Food and Liquor 2, if that makes any sense. I still think it's just a strong album on its own. I just have a huge problem with the title itself, because I just am so exhausted of the fad of sequels. I just wish it would have been just the Great American Rap album, which is an incredible title by itself. But the title alone sort of bothers me. But what I like about this one, and you point that out, is that it doesn't have that commercial zeal as the last couple ones. Like it doesn't sound like there's a strong pop commercial record on there like Superstar from The Cool, and it just seems like he's back to those humble beginnings from Food and Liquor 1, and it sort of seems stress free, and it seems like he's more involved, and he doesn't have the record label drama that he did with Lasers. It just seems like he's more back to where we like him and where he's accustomed to, where he's fit. There's some politically charged commentary, some social commentary, but it's all the things that I like about Lupe Fiasco, just without the drama.
Exactly, and I completely agree with you on that. To add on to what you said, I think that's the last two albums that he hit mainstream. He definitely got a lot of fire for by the media, by the news. As you know, he was on Bill O'Reilly about a year ago, arguing his stance on why he called, President Obama a terrorist and defended his views. But I think that because Lupe stepped out of his comfort zone, he was able to come back to his roots and write an album that he truly felt like he could stand behind in terms of its message. Yeah. And you can definitely tell throughout the tone of this album, from the intro to the outro, you totally get that he's so comfortable within himself, because he was almost like a kid on a skateboard in the first Food and Liquor. I mean, that's the impression I got of him, like, this cool kid from, the south side of Chicago who, likes martial arts and who rides a skateboard. With this one, you get a sense of a man, a political activist who definitely wants to talk for the people, regardless of whether you agree with him or not on his views.
Yeah, when I was talking about the review for the Morning Amp, I mentioned that he simplified the raps a little bit. Like he didn't dumb himself down, but he just reeled in his ability, so he didn't go over people's head. Did you get that feeling at all?
I did get that feeling. I will agree with you on that. He, as much as he was vocal, I feel like he did hold himself back a little bit, just a little bit with his opinions. But I mean, I think he learned his lesson from, the last album and from his interviews and what he said on Twitter. I'm pretty sure that he does, in a sense, care about what his fans are listening to. Yeah. I think he has become a little bit more sensitive lately. Like, I'm talking about the past few months, like right before this album came out. So
yeah, and it just seems like he's more likable this time than the last. Like, just sort of from a personality perspective, that you seem to be a champion back for him again, especially all the drama that happened with him and Chief Keef over Twitter, and him just sort of being a better, taking the higher road in that instance, and then carrying it back to this album where he's trying to do, like, sort of that do better message for everybody, like, following the, on Bitch Bad, like, what, all the stuff that you see on the videos and the stuff that the kids are watching on their own, really with no supervision, is like we should be more attentive to things like that. And I think it's just more of a gradual push that we all should be striving for, to do better in our own circumstances. And I like that it's not too preachy, but it's right on point. It's something that we can all go along with and not feel like, we're, that he's saying something negative about ourselves, or that he's like on another platform or another standard than we are, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah, no, definitely. And along with what you're saying, that he's definitely a likable character this time around, I totally feel that. And I don't know if it's because he has softened up or because Chicago has been put under fire in the media this past year. Obviously, we're so notorious for the violence that we've gone through, all the shootings, all those, the innocent school children getting killed in Inglewood, this teacher strikes, the Chicago Symphony strikes. Right. Chicago has been in the headlines and hasn't been used as an example of finding a solution. Chicago hasn't primarily been used as an example of a problem. And I think what makes Lupe so much more likable is this time is that, no one else in the mainstream media and music has stood up for Chicago. I mean, no one's really spoken out, not even politicians. I mean, Lupe Fiasco this time has proven himself to be the voice of Chicago, the voice of the people.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes him a lot more approachable this time when it comes to people that aren't familiar with his music. They're like, you know what, let me give him a shot. Let me see what he's about.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I agree. And, Lupe seems to have, him and Rhymefest both seem to be the big voices, or the big hip-hop voices that people are identifiable with, who are talking about what's going on here in the city and offering some, serious input instead of just glossing over it, where you see a big name, like whenever they ask Kanye or comment about that, there's like, oh, it's a problem. But it seems like, when Lupe did that interview where he was saying that, the not necessarily Chief Keef, but the Chief Keefs of Chicago scare him. I think a lot of people, at least I felt that that resentment, that there's something. It's just not Chief Keef's fault that he grew up the way he is, but there's a deeper issue going on, and I could respect that coming from Lupe. So yeah, you're right that he's becoming more of a vocal figure of what's going on in Chicago, and he's just not someone who's preaching from his New York penthouse the same way that we could probably think of a Kanye would do.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I'm a Kanye fan, but
yeah.
I have noticed that, Kanye has sort of, driven away from his roots in terms of talking about, the things that people in Chicago experience, in terms of, violence and corruption, police corruption. I mean, the first album, you totally get a sense of that homegrown feeling, that tone that he provided us in the first College Dropout album. But now that he's in more mainstream, I just feel like anyone who has come from Chicago, once they reach that point where they escaped from their roots, they tend to sort of forget where they came from. And what's so admirable about Lupe Fiasco is that he will never forget where he came from. In every single song, you see some issue in Chicago, and he also tells it in a narrative, and that's also good for people who that don't like hip hop or don't like rap when they criticize it. And when it comes to Lupe, they usually tend to like it because he always tells a story.
Right.
And there's always a lesson to be learned from his tracks. And you see that in Food and Liquor too. I mean, he's a little more blunt than the last two albums, but he's definitely telling you stories using reverse psychology, giving you, little lessons without being too obvious about it. Like, you get to figure it out for yourself as you're listening to his songs. So.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I think Lupe is one of the better storytellers in hip hop, and he should be commended for that. Yeah, I agree that the overall theme is a sense of trying to reach other heights, and he does that really well on this one as well. Is there a song from the album that really stands out to you, or that really stuck with you?
Oh my gosh! From the moment I heard this song, "Hood Now," the outro. That song. I mean, he doesn't say much. It's almost repetitive, but because he repeats himself, throughout the entire song, and it's about 7 minutes long almost.
Right.
You really get to feel that he's backing up the children in the streets, like the students. The song, the last hit single that he had a brain freeze. What's that song? I completely forgot. The show must go on. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Forget that? How do you forget that? But
right.
the show must go on. It's a song. It's a message to students, to children that live in the streets, that have broken homes, and he sheds hope and sheds light on their future through his songs. And with Hood Now, oh my gosh, you get to feel his message. Your heart almost aches when you hear this one line when he goes, we take your pain and turned it into song. Right there, that just shows you whose side he's on.
Yeah.
How he really means every word that he says. And I really think it's a good transition and a little preview of what the part 2 Food and Liquor is going to come up. Not the part 2, but the second part of part 2 of Food and Liquor, which is supposed to come out early next year.
Yeah.
I really think that it's going to set the tone for the next release of his Food and Liquor.
Yeah.
Part 2.
Yeah. And you know what? And I really don't like 10-minute songs at all. And but like the music itself, the message itself, is a great closeout for the project. I just thought that 17 tracks was a little bit too much. But I mean, listening to some of my reviews, I just not a fan of that many songs. And
I know you're not.
and I understand that it's this philosophy of trying to give the people more and give them their money's worth. And I completely understand that. But I would take 12 quality tracks over 17 that have 3 or 4 that could have been discarded or not put on the bonus. I don't know, but I just think that 17 and then to close it out with a 10-minute song, there's a little bit of exhaustion that starts to set in, but for the most part, but like I said, it doesn't really take away from the project, but just like the bottom half starts to wear on you a little bit because you're looking for a closure already. You're like, oh, okay, 50 minutes of music I'm in, and I still have 5 tracks to go.
Yeah, it does set off like a dark tone. Definitely after the first 5 tracks, you definitely have a heavy heart listening to it. But I think there's like a middle part that tends to slow down. I think that's where it kind of gets you thinking like it has too many tracks. But the last few songs, like Hood Now and what, I forgot another one, Organ Donor.
Yeah.
Those last few songs, it sort of picks up a little bit. See, if it was Soulja Boy, I'd agree with you and say 17 is way too much. But the thing is that, for me, as a fan, maybe I'm a little biased, but,
yeah.
I don't think you can ever put out too many new Lupe Fiasco songs. There's always something to learn from his music.
Yeah.
See, so if it was like Soulja Boy or like someone that I just find pointless in the hip-hop world, I would agree with you. I'd be like, dude, 15's too much, but...
Right.
If it's someone like, Lupe Fiasco, Common, any of those Chicago artists, authentic Chicago artists that are also poets, It's never too much for me. That's
No.
my opinion on it.
No, I agree with that absolutely. Well, yeah, so it's a fantastic record. What did you think about the album cover? Just the black image. We've seen this before for our Metallica listeners, and
Yes.
the Black Album, Metallica and Jay Z and Lupe doing it for this project. I didn't think it was as original or doesn't have the impact as those projects did because there's sort of a
Hmm.
significance with them. I think that if I was, and I'm not to who cares really about album covers anymore because no one ever buys CDs, but it's
Yeah.
just but to look at just all black little thumbnail boxes on my iTunes, it's just I don't know what the if there's supposed to be a significance behind that or not.
Yeah, I actually was thinking about that yesterday when I was, passing through Best Buy and I saw just the black, the Black Album, that cover. I agree with you in terms that it's not original, it's not creative. We've seen this before with, like you said, Metallica and like other artists that have been trying to instill like this message in your head. With Lupe Fiasco, I think he was trying to say blackout because I think he's trying to say it's his last attempt to sort of to show us like the light, like the message, the conspiracy, to wake us up politically. And also, I'm thinking blackout maybe also can symbolize how blind we've been to the issues in the world.
Interesting.
I mean, it's not creative. I appreciate the message. I mean, I get why he would do that, but I wasn't a big fan of it. I was a little slightly disappointed as a Lupe Fiasco fan on the album cover choice. So.
Yeah. The last point before we get out of here, I thought that this album could have used a really great big feature. Not necessarily someone you would think you would have in mind, like a Jay Z, Kanye, or a Big Sean or any of those names, but just like a really meaty, a guest verse that would have been fantastic to top this thing off. Am I just overreaching in that
No.
in that one, or is that something else you would have liked to have seen?
No, I would have liked to have seen it too. It would have definitely brought a little more variety of sound. Maybe would have been a little less. This is Lupe Fiasco's opinion. This is Lupe Fiasco's story. This is his view. It could have brought another perspective on an issue that he was talking about. Maybe another artist had like an opposing message about, let's say, bitch bad. Let's say, a female rapper could have come on into his track and maybe just sort of for the female fans to sort of clarify like what he's trying to say, because I know he got a lot of fire for bitch bad from a lot of women. If he had brought like a female MC or just another MC in general or another big artist, I really think it would have made his message a little less radical, because Lupe is just known for his radical messages, and it would have, I think, made his arguments a little more, I'm trying to think of the word,
Valid.
his arguments a little more welcoming.
Okay.
I guess it would have let people be like, okay, well, if Kid Cudi's on this track, then maybe Lupe's onto something. Maybe, I'm not really paying attention to what's going on. So if he had brought like another artist, it would have definitely allowed people to take him a little more, or actually look at him as more of a citizen with an opinion than a figure, an idolized figure with strong words to say, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. I think it would just add a little bit of variety to the music. But I think he's done. I think on the Cool, he had Snoop on there, and I wasn't really a fan of that mashup. I just don't think that he's found that perfect collaboration yet, in my opinion. I mean, with Superstar and those pop songs that he's put out there, it sounded great. But I think for like a really meaty hip hop song meshing together with the overall theme of the project, I don't think he's found a great sparring partner yet to work with. Before we get out of here, your rating, I gave it a 4.25 on the morning amp this morning on Friday.
Yeah.
What would is that? Where do you see things at?
I see things. Well, I was extremely impressed with this album. I will give it. You give it a 4.25. I give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Just slightly, just a quarter more.
Yeah, and I was debating about that 4.5 or 4.25, because I didn't feel like it was 4.5 yet, because that's like right on the verge of classic. And as much as I like this album, I'm interested to see if I'll still be listening to it 6 months from now. And but I thought it was better than a 4, which in my idea of giving out ratings, when I think of a 4, back to the source, the 4 mics, I always thought that 4 was always good. Like Jay-Z always put out four mic albums, but this one is just like over that 4 threshold, but it's not yet attempting classic status. And I don't want people to get the idea that I'm gonna say that because
Yeah.
I want to see how time treats this album, and if and how well people still appreciate it when part two comes out. That
Yeah.
makes any sense.
No, I was going to say we're going to have to see until what the second half of this sequel turns out.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Vivian, I appreciate your time so much joining us on the Weekend Wrap Up Mix Show. Let's jump into this Bilal song, How Dare You. It's one of the more up-tempo songs from Food and Liquor, too. And I appreciate you joining me, and hopefully we'll talk to you next week reviewing more hip-hop albums from across the world.
Definitely, Gabe. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, when we return, we're going to talk to the Whoever's, who have the Red Tape Mixtape Street album out there right now. You're listening to the Weekend Wrap Up Mix Show, powered by Vocalo 89.5 FM. So stick around.
You feel way beyond outrageous. Your confidence and appeal is so sexual. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? How dare you come to me like that?
I got my eyes on, like the fire zone. Let's be bygones. Won't you come and be a line in one of my songs? Maybe a whole verse, maybe the whole earth my home. So let me show you around the crib, tell you what I do, and show you what I did. Flow is on the stove, I'm cooking for the kids. Wrist is in the freezer, heart is in the fridge. But we can warm it up, plug the foaming up, open the oven door, turn the zoners up, stretch the bands out. If it ain't long enough, get lost in the feeling, be no longer us. Hop about the coupe, hop up on the bus, give you get to the backs, code name for Rosa Sus. We in a better place, give us condolences. This like a player's way, and like a coma love.
You shine like the lights of Las Vegas. You feel way beyond outrageous. Your confidence and appeal is so sexual. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? How dare you come to me like that? Dare you? Dare you? How dare you come to me like that? Dare you? Dare you?
And I hope it's all up to your standards, cause babies really need to be pampered. I'm behind these tents like a camper, cause you're out there shining like a chandelier. Like a chandelier standing near in your radiance. I think we all need some shadiness or some vision care. Oh no, you didn't dare. While I was sitting here like Huey in this wicker chair. You know that isn't fair. How you just entered here, getting their hopes up that they can interfere. You so insincere. You know I got you. Have you looked in the mirror? You know that's not cool.
You shine like the lights of Las Vegas. You feel way beyond outrageous. Your confidence and appeal is so sexual. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? How dare you come to me like that? Dare you? Dare you? How dare you come to me like that? Dare you? Dare you?
Let's have a ceasefire, be some peace triers. Let's negotiate, because my cheeks tired. I'm smiling all day, emotions need emotion, a Tylenol break. I know you see my strategy, if flattery's a battery, then I'm a rabbit with a pack of D's in back of me. Pause on all levels, everybody settle. I know it sounded weird, I'm just trying to impress you. And step forward with my best tool. If all that fails, hope it's swag to the rescue. I said swag and I'm sorry, don't mean to offend your sensibilities. I meant dress smartly. Yeah, just trying to get you out this party. Can you dig that? Ologist Arky. Please be the Ferrari to my car key, and I'ma hold my baby down like a car seat.
You know what you're doing to me. You got that fire, baby. I just can't get
We doing it, vibe out, y'all. We doing it, vibe out, y'all. We doing it, keep it down, y'all. We doing it, keep it down, y'all. Vibe out, y'all. Vibe out, y'all. Vibe out, y'all. Yeah. I said back in the day, back in the day, wasn't asking for pay, girls passed by my way.
Went out on my way for these honeys every day, and the shit never say, boy, you probably be your babe.
Well, no time for looking back, all that is done. Make way for the whoever is on our sunlight.
Whatever, whenever, however you want it, we on it. So sip the tonic and play back and blow the chronic.
Bump like a mosh pit, now I'm found, but once was lost in
a city in the middle between Boston and Compton.
Downtown they flossing like dentals, we break fast like continental. Sharpen against you just to scar your tissue.
Yo, what I've been through, you can't imagine. Just know I know passion and make it happen. That ain't too much of what I'm asking.
Give me a dap over here and a dap over there. Breathe in the fresh air and let's make things clear.
Oh, this is it now. Move a little bit. Oh shit, don't trip, baby. Gon' move your hips. All my fellas don't trip. Oh, this is it now. Move a little bit. Oh shit, don't trip, baby. Go and move your hips. All my fellas don't trip.
Don't blink, cause you might miss something. So stop the frontin', cause that shit will get you nothing.
I'm nowhere in life, so take 2 steps back. You didn't listen, you been missing where you been at.
And just relax and take a second. It's hella heaven under your discretion. I want the cash and the Lexus.
Carrying on tradition, not to get specific. Lifting spirits when we make appearances on point just like a pyramid.
So there it is, the rumor has it that we the baddest. We doing it all night like Mrs. Gladys.
Performing hat tricks like I'm kicking chillin' with Alice. Wondering when I can lamp like I'm Aladdin in my palace.
But no magic carpet for me, this freedom isn't free. Can't you all agree? I feel it through my blood and arteries.
Give me a dap over here and a dap over there. Breathe in the fresh air and let's make things clear.
Oh, this is it now. Move a little bit. Oh shit, don't trip, baby. Gon' move your hips. All my fellas don't trip. Oh, this is it now. Move a little bit. Oh shit, don't trip, baby. Go and move your hips. All my fellas don't trip.
See, I got trouble on my mind and I've been working hard. This makes no sense, this music don't stop me, keep it on and on. What I'ma do, what I think's true, and what I'm do, I'm keeping it up for you. I'm keeping it up, I'm keeping it up, I'm keeping it up, yeah.
All right, welcome back to the Weekend Wrap-Up Mix Show, powered by Vocalo 89.5 FM. Joining me on this week's Artist Spotlight is a group of Chicago MCs out to give the game of hip-hop some proper balance with dope rhymes and fresh beats on their new project titled The Red Tape. It's a pleasure to welcome the Whoever's, comprised by Jay Author and .com. Welcome to the show, fellas.
Going on, y'all? What's up, Chicago? How you guys doing today?
And I mentioned the word balance in hip hop, and that's something that everybody seems to be talking about. But it's hard to describe, and it's hard to determine who is the balance-e and the balance-er. But what is it about the Whoever's that offers some balance from the hardcore sound that seems to be getting a lot of attention here in Chicago?
Well, I think we're just sticking to the basic so-called underground boom bap, but then again, we add a little funk in there that you don't hear a lot from Chicago artists, and a little R&B into the style, I guess. So I don't think you hear a lot of Chicago artists mixing the two styles very often nowadays. So
yeah, I don't think you hear a lot of people do that, period, really. But I think the balance within us is, we try to keep things current, and then at the same time try to keep that style of like the 90s golden era relevant to our music.
Yeah, and I noticed that too because you guys have a lot of samples from those golden eras. Like you hear some Ghost and Raekwon, you hear a little bit of There's some other people. I think Redman, you guys have in there some samples in there from Redman as well.
Yeah.
And it feels, and I'm glad you guys mentioned that golden era of the 1990s, and that's what I felt. And I hate to tag people with that golden era because it seems like when people say that, it means that the music's not progressing. But I love that you guys taking something from the past, but also moving it forward as well.
Definitely.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. And I got to ask you about Barbecue Bump That. During the end of the track, you mentioned that why don't they let the beat knock anymore? Please tell me why don't they let the beat knock anymore?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe, you have to ask everybody else, man. But we definitely try to let the beats knock in our music for sure. And if people are looking for that, then they can come look for us.
Yeah.
And you can definitely tell, like in most of our songs, we let the beat ride at the end for a little bit. Because, I mean, it's a big part of the song. If the beat isn't hot, I mean, then, the song isn't going to be as good. So, I mean, we definitely want to let the listeners listen to lyrics. But, of course, you got to listen to the actual beat and what goes in it, the different samples, the different drums, the different sound effects, all goes into the big picture,
Yeah. Do you guys seem to find common ground on the production that you guys choose, or is there a little bit of debate about what songs and the production that you want to use?
Basically, it's kind of a mutual agreement.
Yeah.
I make a lot of the beats for the group, and it's pretty much like sessions where I make the beat, and then that's like, whoa, that shit's dope.
Yeah.
So like.
Yep.
How we choose things.
Yeah, we basically just he'll start making beats, and if I like it, I'll be like, "Yo, we got to write to that." And then if we both feel it, then we're gonna start writing to it,
Yeah. Is that so? How do you guys come up with the concept and ideas? Do you guys just sort of sit around and talk about things that are happening, and then come to, or maybe a story that's sparking the idea? Where do you guys come up with ideas for songs?
Usually we sit around for quite a long time listening to the beat, and then we'll actually start talking about little ideas here and there. But for most of the time, we usually just listen to the beat for a long time and start writing to what the beat tells us, really. From then on, we'll record it, maybe leave the hook open, and maybe wait a week to even try to think of a hook,
Yeah.
to match our lyrics. So it's definitely a long process for each song. We definitely don't just write a 16, get a quick hook in there. We really put a lot of thought into each bar, each chorus that we put in this specific album or mixtape.
Yeah. I'm so glad you guys are both undecided. But let me ask you a little bit about the cover of the Red Tape. You have the classic portrait of Dr. J and Larry Bird going at each other. And I want to ask you guys what the portrait is. Is it a metaphor for sort of like, the old Chicago, new Chicago? What's really behind the image there on the cover of the Red Tape?
Basically, at first we picked the picture because we saw it online or something like that, and we thought it was cool. But as we started putting the project together, we really felt like as two MCs in the group, we felt like each of us were either Bird or Larry going at each other, like trying to compete in, writing music, making music, creating.
Yeah, we're basically just challenging each other creatively and lyrically throughout the whole project. And, just the picture alone, you could tell both of them are hungry and are willing to do anything to win. So both of us are constantly challenging each other on every track to push each other creatively, lyrically. And
on top of that, if you look at the picture, it's really like classic.
Yeah.
Type epic looking pictures, and that's what we want to do. We want to put that and make it into like a music audio form of what that picture stands for.
Yeah. And we're really focusing on a classic sound. It's not just a trend that comes in and out. If you look at that picture, it's, I mean, eternal, you know.
No.
And we wanted to make a project that you could listen to like 20 years from now, you know.
Yeah.
It's like a classic.
Yeah, and you guys made a point to include some of the audio from that infamous game, and then some of the post game talk into the intro of the album "Walk These Dogs." So that was that a conscious decision that once you guys picked out the photo, or did you guys already have the audio and then, you know, which came first? Was the picture and then the audio came, or how'd that work out?
I saw the picture, then I made a beat, and then the beat was just like random.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you know, we started writing it, and then like, you know what, maybe we should add some audio to this. And then we started looking up videos for it.
Yeah.
And then add some video for it, and it sounded right.
Yeah, it kind of matched the beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great concept as well, and you know, and back to barbecue bump that like, or yeah, and you know, you guys sampled the Bronx Tale, like the little clip in there about the money as well. I just love I'm just a hugely like fan of those everything that you guys included into this. Talk about some of your favorite songs when you guys were putting the Red Tape together.
Favorite songs off the project, or
Yeah.
just in general?
Yeah.
I'll go ahead. I don't know.
Mine would have to be, I loved how Walk These Dogs turned out just because it actually caught a whole feeling of what you were going to get throughout the whole mixtape, and it was really intense. I think our lyrics were on point and just really sharp how we came up for the intro. But my other favorites are How I Do, just because I love that vibe that we caught in that song, as well as the chorus. It just sticks in your head, you know.
Yeah.
And that, and possibly Barbecue, of course. Just because, I mean, I love that song.
Mine, I'd probably personally have to say is one of them is Rendezvous for sure, because like that was kind of like a really big song we put together. Like that was probably the longest song that was put together during like the whole process of recording this project. You know, we had like a bunch of sessions, and we had instruments and different vocals and everything, and it was totally like a different feel of like all the other songs. I think like we were trying to go out of our element on some of it with the singing and just like the arranging of music.
Yeah.
And also, I would have to say the Ultraviolet record with Chandler London from Pilsen and Deaf Poet. That was a crazy record too.
You know, you mentioned some of the music that you guys included, those classic artists and the samples. Who are some of the influential artists and producers that really, you know, gave you that hunger to start making music on your own?
This.com. I mean, there's really a lot that we listen to, but I mean, Kanye, just the way he evolves every project, starting from that underground soul sound to look at the level that he's now. He's definitely a trend setter within the music industry. Other than that, like, I mean, the Beatles, you could tell how they evolved through every project that they push out. All the way to, like, Gangstar, Wu-Tang. There's really too much to name right now.
Oh, right. And what about you, Jay Arthur? What kind of beats or production value that you've heard in, you know, over time that really, you know, helped you sink into your own distinct sound? Which are some of those influences?
There's a lot, but you know, one that particularly stands out has to be Jay Dilla of Plum Beach fame. You know, he's big. He's a big part of what I do on the beats, and just a big influence for sure.
Yeah. You know, you guys are trying to, or you guys already sort of developed a name for yourself. This isn't your first go around or your first project, but how difficult is it? Give us some insight of the difficulty that lies with an artist, an unsigned artist who's trying to make a name in the third largest market here in Chicago. So what are some of the obstacles that you guys have had to overcome to, reach a venue or get perform on a bigger stage? Talk about some of those obstacles as a group that you guys have endured.
Really trying not to be too annoying in promoting our music, uh, that's probably one of the biggest challenges. We don't want to come up and to your face without you even hearing us and being like, listen to our stuff, because I don't like it when artists come up to us and ask the same thing. So, I mean, just trying to have a balance of waiting and being patient with everything, as well as approaching the right people at the right time, and approaching them or even asking for favors onto listening to our music. Like I said, we don't want to seem annoying and bragging that we're making all these songs, and I just don't like doing it. And even like with like Facebook and Twitter, I personally don't like promoting our stuff. It's a pain, but then again, nowadays you really gotta reach out to those networks online and really talk to people in order for them to even know you, or like they said, it's who you know. And it's always been like that from back in the day till now, I think.
Yeah. But you guys are getting plenty of spotlight. Two Dope Boys, a lot of other sites are picking up on the red tape. How does it feel to get that acceptance by some of the more popular blogs out there that have a lot of influence?
The acceptance is very tremendous, This music that we make is, it means a lot to us, and it's a lifestyle, and I'm glad that people are recognizing it finally, Yeah. Our work pays off, for sure.
Yeah, both of us started writing when we were in middle school, and even in college I was doing a bunch of shows, doing a bunch of mixtapes, and just all the work that goes up to this moment. It's crazy the way you look at it. We've gone to plenty of open mics, plenty of nights not sleeping, going to work the next day, and it's still like that, but at least now we're getting a little shine, so very thankful for everything that's going on.
Yeah, and it's sort of humorous because when I speak with other artists who are in the same boat as you are, who are trying to make that next leap, they carry the burden of having a 9 to 5 to fund the passion, after hours. Are you guys able to juggle that, the working hours along with the hours that are in the studio and at the shows, or does it start to wear and tear on you?
It does, but at the same time, it's worth it, all of it. It's really fun.
Yeah, we really don't mind working after work, Again, work that we do outside of music is just to keep up with our funds, to pay bills. But other than that, there would be no purpose in our life if we didn't work on music at night. No. Or to get that, to express ourselves, there's a lot built into your work day, and you got to somehow release that into a positive way, and we do it through our art and music. And yeah, it's tiring when you go to work, but right after work, all of a sudden you get a second breath of air,
Yeah.
Instead of again.
That's great, fellas. All right, so when's the next time you guys are performing here in the city, and where can we see you?
This Friday at Cubby Bear in Wrigleyville. We're actually headlining there. We'll be performing at 11:45, I believe. So if you guys can make it at Cubby Bear this Friday in Wrigleyville, please come out. We're giving away free 40 copies of the red tape, the hard copy.
Whoever's at the door.
And please say whoever's at the door. It's $7. And we have a live band, which sounds awesome. So if you guys can make it out, please do. We'd love to meet you guys.
That's fantastic. All right, so how else can people get in contact with you? I know you mentioned Twitter. Not a fan of promoting your music, but I'm sure you're a fan of gaining more followers and more people attracted to your music so they can get in tune to what you guys have been up to. I know you guys are on Facebook.com or what's the backslash? Was it the Whoever's?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes, but I mean, if you just Google us, the Whoever's,
Yeah.
make sure it's one word. There's no space in between the and the Whoever's. It's all one word and capital Who in the middle.
Yeah, apparently there's another the Whoever's who look like they're from like a Pakistani boy band group. So,
Yeah, we saw that.
not to be confused.
Yeah, don't confuse us with them. Just like we said, one word, no space in between, and capital Who. You could just type us in Google. I mean, our Tumblr, our Facebook, SoundCloud, Bandcamp, all of that.
To us on YouTube.
Yeah.
All right, so just Google the Whoever's and you'll be in good hands. All right.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, thank you, Jay Author and .com. I appreciate you guys' time so much. The Red Tape, you can find it on vocalo.org/the Music Vox blog. We put it up last week. We got tremendous positive reviews on at least from the site. So I'm glad that people got out there and got a chance to check it out. So if you haven't already, go and do that. And we'll provide the link for the show on Friday at the Cubby Bear so people can go check that out and get a free CD along with a great show that you guys will be providing.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, Gabe.
No problem at all. All right, that's our show this week. I'm your host, Gabe Mendoza, Vocalo Senior Hip Hop Correspondent. We'll check you guys out next week.
Peace, peace.
We could take us to the mainland, to Japan, up to Paris, France, to the Eiffel Tower where on top me and you could dance. Hold up, baby, lately these my plans. So if you wanna ride along, grab your camera phone and freeze time each time we arriving on a place with sunny weather. Put aside the bummy sweaters, just put on your sundresses, looking excellently pleasant, sexy ass.
Say, baby, I know you're stressing from what all this world brings to you.
Side girl, don't trip.
But here's a thought, girl. I hear it's nice enough from you to sugar.
You ever hear about Bermuda? Let me go. Smile, girl. Yeah.
So pack all your bags. I'm sure you'll be glad. Straight chill and relax and be together, baby. Let's dance till we can't and go everywhere and go anywhere.
Everywhere. Just me and you. Now house about it. Now house about it. Just me and you. No need to rush. Let's take our time. Let's take our time and get away just for a while. Just for a while. For a while. Just for a while. You.
How's about it, love? What you wanna do? Coffee in France or strolling through the Brookfield Zoo? Or any way your heart desires, anything for you. Rooftop by the ocean, we'll enjoy the view. The sunset, Mediterranean on the cruise. That 5-star food, what we got to lose? Cause I see you pitching plenty pennies and your soul feels empty. But baby, if you let me, there'll be no regretting, right?
Hey baby, I see you working harder than usual.
Hey girl, hey, put them books down. Come over here, just chill for a bit.
Wouldn't it be from the highs to get away? And what we got to do?
What you think, love? What you think, huh? What you think, love? Yeah.
So pack all your bags. I'm sure you'll be glad. Straight chill and relax and be together, baby. Let's dance till we can't and go everywhere.
about it. Now house about it. Just me and you. No need to rush. Let's take our time. Let's take our time and get away. Just for a while. Just for a while. For a while. Just for a while.
If I had the money, me and you'd be gone somewhere across the world, probably roaming Rome. Buy you a rug from Persia, we gon' make some love on and cruise the Caribbean, drink and get our grub on.
Sunset Boulevard, we're working hard, so drop some hundreds on ya. Northern or Southern California, driving on the coaster. Waving to the waves and fly you back to my place. In the shower, we ending our getaway. Get away, just get away, get away.